New York City's police chief has backed Mayor Bill de Blasio after criticism that he had increased tensions between police and minority communities. 2 officers were shot and killed as they sat in their patrol car on Saturday, following weeks of protests about killings by U.S. police. The mayor was accused by the police union of stoking tensions. But Police Commissioner Bill Bratton told NBC it was not his fault some officers had lost trust in him. And he strongly rejected the notion the mayor had increased the risk to police officers by appearing to side with protesters following the death of Eric Garner, who was killed by a police officer earlier in the summer. "There are a lot of moving currents creating tension and atmosphere," he said, referring to unpopular pension changes. Calling this a change moment, Mr. Bratton urged the city to move forward. He was also critical of the officers who turned their back on Mayor de Blasio as he entered a news conference about the shooting. Ismail Brinsley, 28, shot and killed Wenjian Liu, 32, and Rafael Ramos, 40, as they were sitting a patrol vehicle in the borough of Brooklyn. After firing 4 bullets through the front passenger window, he fled to a nearby subway station, where police said he shot himself in the head. Brinsley had a history of violence and mental instability and had been arrested at least 19 times in Georgia and Ohio, police said. When he arrived in New York on Saturday, hours after wounding an ex-girlfriend, Shanika Thompson, in Baltimore, Brinsley threatened on Instagram to kill police officers. Jump media player help out of media player. Press enter to return or tab to continue. Lucy Ramos, aunt of Rafael, called for a peaceful coexistence. He mentioned Gardner and Michael Brown, another unarmed black man who died in the summer at the hands of the police. New York's chief of detectives Robert Boyce said Brinsley had also shared his feelings of self-despair and anger at himself and where his life was in recent posts. Continue reading the main story. Start quote. "I don't think the mayor is responsible for this. I think that's an incorrect and incendiary charge." Rudy Giuliani. Officials were still spreading a warning from Baltimore area police the man was in New York and threatening officers when Brinsley opened fire. After the death of Garner in New York, Mayor Bill de Blasio had talked about his fears for his mixed-race son, comments now being seized on by his critics. He has also campaigned for reform of police tactics such as stop and frisk. The head of the New York City Police Union said the mayor had blood on his hands, and former New York Governor George Pataki described the shootings as a predictable outcome of divisive anti-cop rhetoric from the mayor. Former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani said while he disagreed with some of Mayor de Blasio's policies, officers should stop making such comments. "I don't think the mayor is responsible for this. I think that's an incorrect and incendiary charge," he told broadcaster CBS. Police departments in New York and several other cities were said to be operating on high alert, fearful of copycat attacks. The NYPD has suspended all auxiliary patrols for the time being, and police unions have told officers to respond to every radio call with 2 cars and to not make arrests unless absolutely necessary. Officials are also expecting protests in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, after prosecutors said they would not charge a police officer who shot a mentally ill black man at least 14 times after they traded blows following the police officer's attempt to search him. Meanwhile, the family of Officer Ramos joined community leaders near their home in Brooklyn for a prayer vigil on Sunday, and a makeshift memorial has sprung up at the site of the shooting. His cousin Ronnie Gonzalez said the family had already forgiven his killer and the family would not object to Mayor de Blasio attending the funeral. The Patrolmen's Benevolent Association had demanded the mayor be barred from attending, and the union president had recently suggested officers sign a petition telling Mayor de Blasio not to attend their funerals if they died on duty.